I got over the fact that I'd even think about that, and then it became a lot easier for me to then spend the other days doing work where, so it's okay to accept that you're not going to get any work done on a given day. I've found that that's totally okay. It makes things a lot easier. You don't feel as guilty at the end of the day after not getting any work done, of just saying and saying, I'm not going to do work today. I have other things. I have my life that is just as important. And you just need to compartmentalize rather than trying to blend them together every day. It won't work.
And that psychological toll can be huge, the guilt thing.
Yeah.
If you say that you're going to get X done in a given week and then don't, you can start to beat yourself up about it. And writing a dissertation is really an exercise in mental strength on an extraordinary level. I mean, it is an amazing thing to sit down and produce this document essentially on your own. And so if you start to get in a mental space that's not good, it can be really detrimental to the work. And so exactly those kinds of strategies where you say, today is, I'm going to deal with wedding stuff, and it's okay if I don't get anything done. I'm going to take care of my kid today. I'm going to do whatever, the other things that you need to do on any given day. But then you say, but Tuesday afternoons from 2 to 6, I am chained to my desk and I'm not leaving the room. Then you can feel better about those moments that,
Yep.
you don't.
Even if you don't get work done on that Tuesday afternoon,
Right.
you weren't just procrastinating by doing the other things. Even if you sat and stared at your computer, like, this has happened to me where I said, I'm going to work. And I didn't get any work done. I mean, that's just the way my brain works. But at the same time, it wasn't me just constantly being distracted by something else. You just have to compartmentalize. But the psychological thing, it's very big, and that certainly affected me, and is a big reason why I've had to take another year. It all starts to add up. When you don't get work done this week, and then the next week, all of a sudden you're overwhelmed, and you don't even know where to start to make up for what you're missing. And this is where I found it's really important, and I guess it depends on your advisor or whoever, but for me, it's really important to keep in touch with your advisor about these things. Let them know about these things. They are there to help you finish. Well, ideally. I have an amazing advisor in terms of support, but don't ever get to the point where you're like afraid to meet with your advisor because you didn't get any work done that week. And if they ask, what have you been working on? You have nothing to tell them. Don't be afraid to meet with them. That's what they're there for. That is what ultimately kept me on track, and probably will keep a lot of people on track, is just keeping the contact with your advisor. Even if you aren't constantly emailing them, just suck it up and tell them once that you're struggling or whatever, and ask them that maybe they should be emailing you for status reports. I have a really hands-off advisor, so this took me telling her, and so don't be afraid to just suck it up and do that. Because as with your program administrator, your advisor has probably had lots of students who have gone through very similar situations. When I finally sucked it up and kind of told her my situation, and I hadn't been working, and she's like, this is nothing I haven't seen before. This is what we're going to do. And you're not unique in your struggles. I can almost guarantee that. And your advisor will have seen other people. So.
And it also helps on the financial front, because if your advisor is aware of your situation, professionally and personally, if you come to a moment where you're like, so a colleague of mine this fall wanted to work on his dissertation, so he wasn't going to take a teaching job, and then his wife couldn't find a job. And without her working, he was in a position, and so they were going to go home to Mexico because they just couldn't afford to be here any longer. And we were at lunch with one of the members of both of our dissertation committees, and my friend says this, and the member of our committee was like, my God, I have RA money. I mean, of course, I know you don't want to be working right now, but I can make this work for you, because I don't want you to have to go home where it's going to be much harder for you to write and get things done. So those close personal relationships with advisors, and every advisor is different, of course, but can help to plug not only these professional gaps, but also some of the financial ones if you get into a pinch. Sometimes they've got an extra couple $1,000s lying around for a particular project that they got a grant for, and they can put you on as an RA and get them through it. So
I mean, I've had the same experience from more of a research money kind of point of view, but you never know what your advisor has available for you.
And if you're staying in regular contact, they know you're not asking for it just on a whim, but rather because you just hit a rough patch. Yeah. It's great advice, you guys. Yeah, it's sort of like, from what I'm hearing from both of you, imposing a structure on yourself in an environment that's otherwise really free form, whatever that looks like for you and however you best function.
It's certainly not easy. It wasn't for me to impose structure, and it still isn't. I still have problems, working out my week and making sure I get work done. But this is where like the key partners thing is really important. Good relationship with your advisor, a fellow classmate who's at the same level as you or something. You guys, anything that helps keep you in check. When you have someone to answer to, that's not just yourself, and even if they're not there. It's not your advisor like brandishing a stick or something, like just someone who knows about your situation, who can just ask kindly, how are you doing? I don't know. That's what's most effective for me, is having someone to answer to, and not in a bad way, just so I don't know, it almost guilts you into working. So
it's not unlike a job or something, because I love my job, but every morning I don't get up and feel it. So, but if I didn't come to work, my boss would get upset with me, and there's an accountability level there. So it's really hard in your case because you don't have anyone who makes you, turn in these deliverables or show up or be productive. And yeah, I suppose sometimes I sit in front of my computer screen and I'm more productive than others, but I'm there. And so if you could look at it as almost like a traditional job, whatever that is, it might be a good way.
There's no other way about it. And you have to sort of, on some level, stop telling your friends that you're still a student when you're, in your 30s and have been here for 6 years. I mean, you're a teacher, you're writing a book, and so conceptualizing yourself that way becomes also important, right?
That's exactly what I did in my second year. Is after my first year, I was just taking classes. I felt like a student, but at the end of it, I hadn't gotten any work done towards any kind of proposal or whatever, and I felt really bad. And a lot of it is, I had to tell myself, I'm being paid to do this. This is my job. It's hard, it's hard to switch to that mindset, but that was a big accomplishment for me, and really helped. Is you got to see that you're answerable kind of to the people paying you. They're expecting you to do this.